Welcome back to Open Water, everybody.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you for tuning in once again. We really appreciate
It
it.
just sits there all the time. Like, doesn't acknowledge everyone. Yeah, hi, listeners and watchers. Thank you so much.
We say hello for Diana. So
I'm the weird one.
She just sits there.
I'm so tired.
I know. I'm very exhausted. I think it was a J for me that made me super fucking tired.
I've just been tired since 7 o'clock.
And then, like, eating that food was like...
That's
I'm actually not tired today, but I do feel like very like bleh. Like I was doing my makeup and I'm like, this shit is ugly. And then I was trying to do my hair and I'm like, this shit is ugly. But this is what we're doing today.
It's one of those days
that a girl goes through.
Just one of them days. Oh, I
don't want to take it out on you.
Don't take
it personal. Yep, there you go.
I just can't sing, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna just mum it because I cannot
mum it.
Yeah, like mum it, like hum it, but mum at the same
like mumbling,
mumble, like, but hum, but like you're still moving your lips, like.
I've never heard mum.
I knew what you meant. I've never heard it either, but I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I mean, I created a word there, but I'm glad you caught on.
Like, I knew what you meant,
yeah. You gotta mumble, but hum with it. You know, get a little note out there, because I cannot carry a note whatsoever.
I can't sing, but I don't give a fuck. I be singing my heart out.
You know,
I can sing sometimes if I practice over and over again. If I were practicing scales, I think I could sing. Because I was like, damn, I almost forgot what song it was. Some Frank Ocean song I was singing the other night. And I literally sat there singing it over and over until I finally hit it right. And I was like, okay, there we go. Because it sounded awful at first. So I kept going sharp. And I was like, ooh, no.
See, that's the thing. I don't get all that. I don't get like sharp and flat or like, I mean, I don't know how to change my voice. Like,
did you do band or anything like that?
I just did orchestra.
Oh.
I did band and I also did choir.
I did band and choir.
You did choir,
that's why.
Yeah,
that's
I
why.
mean, I still couldn't sing in choir.
I mean, but I feel like, I was in the choir at my church, but I feel like it always sounds good when lots of people sing together for some reason.
But when you do choir, like the whole thing is you're doing scales when you're warming up, so that just trains you into be able to, like, that's how you learn how to sing. Because it really is, there are natural singers,
like,
but you actually have to learn to, you know, be able to shift through the keys and make it sound good. Otherwise, you sound like an asshole.
I still can't read music to this day.
I'm pretty sure if you put like a viola, like, you know, like a, what is it called? The line of music? Sheet music. Yes. If you put it in front of me, I think I could figure it out, but...
I can't read sheet music for drums, but I can for like the keyboard or the saxophone.
The
drums is very easy.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very easy because one's the hi-hat, one's the cymbal, one's the bass drum. But that's not how I learned. So, I mean, I would be able to read it, but it would take me time to be able to read it.
I played the drums in band, and I hated like that little xylophone shit because like you actually had
percussion.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play the drums because I wanted to be like Suzette. But
made you play the xylophone though?
Yeah, but I didn't like that because I couldn't read music, but I could read music for the drums. Like, that was easy for me. But the bass was my favorite because I'll be boom, boom. Like, I was an angry child.
Drum? Is that what you wanted to be in band?
I did originally, but I was like, I like the bass. Like, this shit is where it's hitting.
Yeah, I started viola when I was in 5th grade. I was like, I like this. It's fun. Like, I really took it seriously for like a good 3 years. Then once I got to 8th grade, I was like, I don't need to anymore.
Yeah, I
started. Can you still play a little tune?
I think I could. I'm positive I could.
Do you still have yours?
I also took a keyboard class.
I had a keyboard. And I would Google or like YouTube videos. And like, they'll like have the camera over and they'll show you like what keys. And I would learn how to play songs that way.
My mom taught us how to play. I honestly wish I could have stayed in band, but my music teacher or my band teacher made me feel bad.
Mine too. And the bitch could never pronounce my motherfucking name. Fucking bitch.
See, my other teacher yelled at me 8th grade year. She came up to me and she was like, I see you're not enrolled for next year. And I was like, no, I'd rather start my languages now because you need 3 years in high school. So I was like, I want to start 8th grade like everyone else. She's like, you're going to pick that over because you're going to have one elective. And I was like, yeah. Like, what the fuck? Why are you getting mad at me? See, I mean, I was good, but so like, fuck you, bitch.
My school was very segregated. Like, they only the kids with a certain grade were allowed to learn languages. I wasn't allowed to. But for band, I had to quit because the motherfucker was like, he sent a letter home with me and I read it and he was like, all of the other band members are practicing hard. She's not practicing. It's not fair to them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I fell during the band night and broke my saxophone and we're too poor to be able to fix it. That's why I'm borrowing the school's saxophone. But I felt bad, so I just told my mom I didn't want to play anymore.
Wait, you weren't able to loan one from the school and take it home?
I wasn't allowed to take it home. I could only use it at the school or whatever.
That's a dumbass school.
Because I hadn't gotten it fixed. It was very like they assumed you had money. They assumed everything. They assumed you had a computer. They assumed like we struggled. I told you one time.
Why do schools? That's stupid. No school should ever.
It was supposedly a good school district.
I was in a very good school district, but they still loaned instruments. Like, if you broke it, then you had to pay for it. But you signed it out.
No, I have my own saxophone.
I know, but I'm saying if you couldn't afford to get your own saxophone, they would loan it to you. You would loan the instrument to you through the school. You just turn it in at the end of the year.
I feel like the saxophone is a very sexy instrument.
It is.
And the fact that you play the saxophone, like that makes you like 10 times sexier. Like, or used to play. I don't know, but I think that the saxophone and the trumpet, like, those are sexy. Those are sexy.
I don't have the lung power for trumpet. My brother was trombone. I'm like, I don't get how you have the lung power.
Those are very sexy instruments to me. Not like the clarinet, the piccolo. Like that's not sexy. The flute.
You know what's so funny when you say clarinet? I think of like a white girl with like frizzy brown hair and like glasses, like carrying her like flute or clarinet.
I think of Squidward.
Like, well, yeah, of course. But like,
I think of.
No, I remember the clarinet players in my fucking band. They used to fight each other. This chick, I think her name was Ariel, or no, her name was Brittany, and Erica.
Why would they fight each other?
Oh, they would just fight each other. Like Erica would be like, "You little mouse!" They'd be scratching, hitting each other on the bus, throwing their clarinet boxes at each other. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm getting hit. I'm like, I don't even know you. Well, actually, I knew the one chick, but I never really actually knew her. But yeah,
that's actually,
they would always fucking
hilarious.
fight. They hated each other.
That's weird.
Were they always like competing for like the top spot?
Because Erica played basketball, so. But this is elementary school, so at the same time,
I never played it.
It was like the elementary schools.
Yeah, sorry, I started in 5th grade.
Got together with Southern and Shrewsbury, and then we created like a super band, and then we had our concert.
In elementary school, I was first chair viola.
I know that's right, bitch. Mm-hmm. You go, girl.
6th grade year, I was first chair.
Yes, that's right,
bitch. I
had
a solo in like the winter or whatever. I was so nervous, but I did it. I was like, oh my god! I was so obsessed with it. Like, I would be practicing in my room. Like, I was in love with it.
I would play for hours till my mouth hurt.
See, that's why I couldn't. I mean, I guess my fingers would hurt, my arm was hurting, but it was fun. Like,
my mom hated when I practiced the drums at home.
Well, I mean,
she hated that shit.
If my kids were on the drums,
she was so glad that I quit band.
Money to, like,
my sister would yell at me whenever I played the drums.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, you're always trying to sleep, bitch. No, for real, she really did.
We all know what sleeping means sometimes. It can be a suppressant as well, you know, forms of depression. It makes you go to sleep to just suppress all the emotions. I always never saying that because I saw someone on Facebook was commenting on like this celebrities thing. It was like, you're a bad mom. We know all you do is sleep all the time. And someone was like, yo, like, you don't know like what they're going through. Someone sleeping a lot is usually a cause of something. Like, something's going on. Like, because in all reality, you shouldn't be sleeping all day, all the time. And I was just like, oh my god, so dramatic. But it's true.
I used to sleep all the time. I just be sleep. It was so good. Mm-hmm. But then I would just wake up even more tired and be like, I'm going to sleep. But I would wake up to eat shrimp Alfredo and then I'll go back to sleep.
How old were you?
I was 16-ish.
Yeah, I had shrimp Alfredo a lot when I was shrimp
but
Alfredo and
Yoo-hoo. This is when I was like super depressed.
Yeah.
Chocolate milk with shrimp Alfredo.
It's so disgusting. It tastes metallic-y. It always had a metallic. I was like,
oh my goodness.
So I stopped drinking Yoo-hoo because of it. But I do love me some Yoo-hoo.
I think I always drink Nesquik. I never drink Yoo-hoo.
Oh,
I don't drink chocolate milk.
I love Yoo-hoo.
I love chocolate milk. That's like a guilty like pleasure of mine. I haven't
Want
had it in
some
forever.
soy milk. Oh, some almond milk. Some chocolate almond
Chocolate
milk.
almond milk is very good. Really
I don't like
good.
chocolate milk, strawberry milk.
I don't like chocolate
I don't like
milk.
none of that shit.
Bag milk.
We used to
Y'all
have.
never
we
had
used-
bag milk?
Yes, we used to have that in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
I was like,
Never
well,
had bag milk.
this was.
Sorry, I made a face.
I've had
for
bag
everyone
milk before.
watching.
Yeah, it was bag milk. Like, so
Yeah.
that's what they would give
A
us
little
in Puerto
square
Rico.
bag, a pouch.
Never
A
had
pouch
it.
of milk. You had strawberry, you had white, and you had chocolate.
I love me some white milk though. I will fuck
I
up
know,
some
and I'm
white milk.
like, that's nasty. Ugh.
What, that I still drink cups of milk?
Yes.
I haven't
so
had milk
good.
since I was probably like 16.
Yeah, like actually, well,
And that was with,
drinking
like-
milk by
like,
itself.
with cookies.
I don't think I've had milk by itself since probably like 12, 13.
Yeah, I was like 16.
I'll be drinking.
I
Because
have to have it with
I used to
something.
love milk and cookies. That used to be
Yeah,
my
but I
shit.
mean that's the thing. I'll have
No,
milk and
like,
cookies, but I haven't
I
just
will-
drank
I
milk
will just
by
drink
itself.
Oh,
a
by
cup
itself?
of-
No.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Drinking milk by itself, I have not done since like, well, I was buying school lunches.
That's what I'm saying. I think
guess.
like 12, 13, like 13, 14 is when I was like, I'm not getting milk at lunch anymore, and I'll get like Gatorade or Powerade,
Oh,
like
that's more
something like that.
expensive.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
I would have milk with my lunch, but I will also drink milk by itself. It's delicious.
'Cause
I
you could
like
get,
milk.
You can get the school
all of
lunch.
the vegans right now are like, yelling at you, and I'm
I don't give a
joking.
fuck. Suck
Okay,
my
no,
dick.
no. Okay, you don't got it. Okay, I was making a joke. They're most likely not vegans. Aren't some vegans? I'm not saying all, but we do know there are some who are high mighty.
It actually, it's most of the people who are like, ew, milk. They're not even vegan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm not vegan, but I'm just like, I have not drank regular milk in a very long time.
I love
not a
that.
fan
It's so good.
It's very different. But anyway, let's pick a topic. Well, we already picked a topic.
So let's, well, you picked it, we drew it on here.
No, I mean,
Well, I was going to do a fake pulling of the topic, but because we've done that before.
yeah, I know, but just there's nothing in here. I thought.
Paranormal activity.
I thought there was a piece in it.
It was what? No,
We're out of
did,
topics,
this
but
did fall out.
we're gonna think of more topics to put in the jar. So we're just been picking topics.
Or you can tell us what y'all want us to talk about.
I mean, yeah, no one ever comments.
No,
anything.
y'all don't comment. Y'all don't. Do
Y'all be
nothing.
listening.
Y'all listen, but y'all don't
Like
comment.
I'll be like, why no one comment?
Big ass
stuff?
bitches.
We can have whole conversations in the comment section. What's up?
But anyway, yeah, paranormal activity and things of that nature, like really
Ghosts.
spooky episode, and just stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a fun one. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm into paranormal activities, but I also am just like, I don't care. Like they don't bother me. I'm not afraid of them. I'm just like, oh, y'all are most likely here, chilling, cool. Like I haven't had any ones where it's scary. I've had people tell me stories. And like, I mean, I've seen it before. Like, I've seen a ghost. I'm positive I've seen a ghost, but it didn't scare me. I was just like, oh my god, like that was a ghost. Holy shit, But yeah.
Yeah, so I read somewhere that a ghost is like the height of a ghost. Like if it's like a tall creature, that's not a ghost, that's a demon. And in my mind, like, run.
I've never seen a demon then. Ever.
I've seen a demon on my chest. That was sleep paralysis.
But like, so like with sleep paralysis, because I know two other people who have it and they are saying the same exact thing. Is it your subconscious creating it? Or is it like an actual like demon like being present over you, or is it just like your subconscious? Like,
Also, it's a hallucination. The
Okay.
reason why you see it, and most people, it's either a hooded figure, which I have seen. At first, when it first started happening, I used to see a shadow man wearing a trench coat and a hat, and that's what I would see all the time, like right off to the side next to me. I'd be trying to scream, and I couldn't scream. I would just see him there. And then one time I woke up, and it was a little demon on my chest. I was like, what the fuck? But it was like a shadow demon. Again, it didn't really have any set lines
Yeah, it was
and
like no,
face or
figures,
anything
like a
that.
blur.
No, it wasn't a blur. It was just like I saw a black thing on my chest, and I was like,
Yeah,
and then I woke up.
Oh, okay. When I think of blur, I just think of no figure.
No, it had a shape to it. It just wasn't like a solid. It was dark. I couldn't really see.
You just literally just saw the shadow of a thing.
I saw, like I didn't, like it was on my chest, but I did not see like, it was in my face or anything like teeth or anything like that.
Oh, like peripheral vision, like you can see it because you can't move, right? It's just like your eyes are just moving around, so you can see it, but you can't like really see it, and it just, but you feel its presence, like
but it's basically what that is. It's a hallucination. It's like you're getting stuck in the in between. And usually you hear shit, you see shit. I have both of it happens to me. But then I've had like other experiences where I'm like, what the fuck?
No, that's the one time that I felt, well, it happened twice. I felt like this thing on my chest. And I got mad because it, like, I was trying to sleep and I'm minding my business sleep and I felt it. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm yelling at this thing, like, to get off of me. Like, bother me when I'm awake, not when I'm sleeping. Like, you're fucking rude, is what I told the thing. And then it left me alone. And then I told Jessica, she was like, why would you say that? And I'm like, because I was trying to sleep and they were being fucking rude. Like, I'm awake most of the time because I don't really sleep for real. Like, you can bother me during the day. Bother me when I'm awake and not when I'm trying to sleep. I don't like that shit. I don't like it when ghosts be bothering me when I'm asleep. I don't like it when people be bothering me when I'm asleep. Just leave me alone when I'm asleep. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think if a spirit wants to... I mean, I always thought to myself, if I ever died, I would love to be a spirit and, like, fuck with people that fucked with me. But then I'm like, nah, I wouldn't probably do that to someone. Because I've never been fucked with by a spirit. So I feel like that's just not a fun thing to do. But, like, I've had things fall around me, and I'll be like, how did that fall? Come on now.
Oh, well, I mean, I told you I've had multiple experiences throughout my life, but the one, like, as an adult that, like, actually scared me was, like, for the longest time, my cat would just stare into the living room like he's staring at something. Or the dining room, I'm like, there's something in this house. I just felt creeped out the whole time. I just got creeped out vibes. And I don't remember if I had heard things, but like then one day I was sitting there. I was either because they were right. Like,
is this the house you live in now?
No, this is when I lived in Pennsylvania. There was the fridge here, and then the pantry was pretty much like diagonally directly behind it, like in front of it or whatever. So I can't remember if I was looking into the pantry or looking into the fridge, but the basement was just past it, and I heard whispering downstairs, and then a door like creak open. And normally, like, Falcon would fuck with the doors down there and sometimes open them and shit. I'm like, no, Falcon was in the living room or something. He wasn't downstairs. And I fucking screamed and ran out of the house. And I was like, I'm not going back in there. I'm not going in there. I waited a couple hours till my roommate came home from work because I was like, and everyone my roommates made fun of me for the longest time because they're like, there's no ghosts. You're just scaring yourself. You're just scaring yourself. And then I'm talking to my college best friend one day because she lived with me. This is like first week of school.
It was a ghost.
And well, listen, we were talking and I was like, and then the door, there was no breeze, and there was like, we had a screen door in the front, but there was no screen. It was just glass. It was like a glass door in the front and then the door. And the front door just slammed shut. And her eyes got big, and I stood up and was like, I fucking told you, there was no way you cannot tell me that was not a ghost. Like, there is something in the house.
Was there not a lot of wind?
There was no wind at all. The doors was closed.
Inside the house, though?
Yeah, it was the door inside the house. And there was no reason why it should have slammed shut like that. No one else was home to open any windows, any doors to make it slam shut.
That's definitely a ghost.
So I was like,
it's 100% a ghost.
That's when we had a medium come to the house, though. We didn't, like, I burned sage and all that shit.
And what did they say?
She said that there were multiple spirits in the house, and that there was, like, some energy concentrated in the basement area. And that it was like the energy stayed with the house. It wasn't some of the energy, like, because everyone has like ghosts or spirits that follow them and shit too. It's like it stays with the house.
Did y'all tell her any information?
No.
Before? Okay.
But this was my roommate's sister because she's always like blah blah blah.
No, I'm not so doubting her credibility. I'm just doubting if she knew any previous information about the house before she came.
No one did.
Because that's my whole skeptic when it comes to psychics and stuff. It's like,
yeah,
if they ask, I'm very vague with my response.
Well, she didn't say anyone died in the house. She just said the energy's concentrated to the house. Because it doesn't mean necessarily you die there. For whatever reason, your energy is staying there.
I'm saying, like, you know, if, like, she says concentrated in the basement, so maybe her sister had told her, yeah, Diana says something about the basement, so she automatically goes, but you're saying she didn't know anything. So that is understandable. Like, I can believe her then. But, okay, you know your shit. You're saying, you're proving everything that I've been thinking in my head. So it's like,
I'm very skeptical of like psychics and mediums.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's because
but
that's
I do want to go get like my palm read.
I think we all have a susceptibility or some sort of paranormal psychic ability. It's just how much we can tap into it. Some people are more tapped into it. Some people, I feel like, are tapped into it, but also use it for financial gains. Like there's people do it for varying degrees. Like you see it on Instagram all the time, different things, and I'm like. There's no shame for getting your money, but like there's other people that like clearly will like they're more so just good readers of people. Like they can tell from your body language if they're going the right direction, and basically from generalizations and like you have a few little generalizations on something that you hope them to be able to contact a ghost for you or a certain person for you, and
I don't want no damn body to contact no damn ghost for me. I don't want none of that.
I was always fascinated with Ouija boards, but like none of my friends would do it with me, which I understand. I get.
Absolutely not.
But I find it very fascinating. Like I mean, I used to be like semi-obsessed with death. Like I was like obsessed like serial killers and like, you know, knowing about like why the things they did and like how they killed and like stuff like that. I was like kind of like semi-obsessed with that for a little bit. So I would just wonder, like, I would love to contact, like, these people and, like, figure out what their stories
I'm still
are.
very much obsessed with
What, a serial killer?
No, like their victims.
I'm still very much obsessed
but that's, like, also...
psychopaths.
I've talked with someone
killers.
before who's, like... This is a really interesting point that, like, it's a very fine line because you don't know what you're talking to on the other side. You don't know what that is. And this is actually a story that I wanted to tell you. This is my ghost story or whatever. But, like, I think it was on that show Ghost Hunters or something like that. It was one of those type of shows. And so this is why I'm not sure if they created this story just for the exhibit, because this dude has basically one of the dudes on the show has this house and it's like a museum of like, you know, paranormal shit. And there's these speakers or these monitors that this woman named Lee Shapiro had like set up and in her house, and she was found in the middle of them dead. And this was actually in Baltimore. She has an obituary and everything.
I feel like I've heard this before.
It was like either mid 90s or late, or like you'll find such shit on Reddit. You'll find most of this on Reddit, but there's like, you know, there's an obituary. You don't find that much. So it's like either this dude made it up or her family just really didn't want any of the information out there just because, you know, people are like, ooh, tell me more. Like, you know, the googly, like, want to know, be in your business and shit. And they just wanted to go away because she just seemingly died randomly. But on the show, they ended up recreating the experiment and, you know, turned on all the monitors, and they had another dude recreate the same experiment somewhere else doing the same thing with similar monitors that they made.
You told me this.
Yeah. And those dudes didn't die. So I'm like, how many times did she do it? Like, like she was taking pictures in the like she had been taking a couple of Polaroids in the days leading up to her death and shit, and it was just like creepy vibes. And it's like, did she make contact with something on this side, and is that like what killed her, or was it like, you know, that because it was like different frequencies, basically when they were all turned on it reached like certain frequencies or whatever. And I'm like, what if that's the key to opening another dimension or whatever, a portal to hell? That's what they thought it was, like she opened a portal to hell or something like that. And like, I don't necessarily believe in like a heaven or hell, but you know, portals to other worlds, yes. Spiritual realm.
Y'all remember
I love stories. I love ghost stories.
That thing, like that tell, like the Bloody Mary. Or
Bloody Mary, yeah.
That used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid.
What was it? There's another one.
Candyman,
yes. Like, me and my cousins in Memphis, we did it, I think, twice in our grandma's, like, bathroom. Because we were, like, I think we were like a 10 or 11. We were like obsessed with like. I
did the Bloody Mary thing like once, but I was so scared.
We were terrified.
I was so scared.
I never done that because number one, I don't even want to have the chance to even contact a ghost like that. Like I don't want no parts of it. Like I thoroughly enjoy hearing stories of other people doing it, but I will never do it myself. Call me a pussy if you want to, then yes, but I'm not doing it. But I think I was in 6th grade, and this girl was like, yeah, my friend did it, and she was like, it was fine until she tried to open the bathroom door and she broke her wrist. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm still not gonna do it. Like, y'all hoes ain't about to have me do this shit. Like,
it also didn't help that the other kids that would be telling the story about Bloody Mary and like how to do it would also make shit up. Also, like they had a tendency to embellish or lie.
I'm pretty sure that like the bitch broke her wrist doing something else, but that's the story that she told, and that's the story that like motherfuckers ran with. But I wasn't about to do no Bloody Mary shit. Like, you had me fucked up.
But it's crazy. Like I would love to know how that started. Like, I mean, is it real? Like, I mean, they say it's real and that happened to someone, but I mean, which
I think it was just some story to scare kids. Yeah, that's all that shit was, just to scare the shit out of some kids.
I mean, I feel like that's how a lot of ghost stories are made.
It's really just to scare you. It's part of the entertainment factor, you know. Like, we like to be scared.
Like, okay, so like we were talking about psychic abilities, and last night I was watching the basketball game, and I predicted what was about to happen. I was like, yo, Dame is about to just start shooting the ball, because like every time the whistle blew for an off the ball foul and Dame had the ball, he would just shoot the ball from wherever he was, and it was going in. And I've been watching him, like I've been watching the game, and then he shot an off the ball foul happened like right at the like mid second quarter. He shot the ball and made it, and I was like, Dame's about to just shoot the ball. He's about to just shoot the ball. When they inbound this ball and it starts this game, he's shooting. And he literally shot the ball 4 times in a row. He shot it, made it. Ball went down the way, got the steal or whatever, turnover, came down, pulled up, shot up. And I was just like, yeah. But leading into that, dreams. I feel like some of my dreams are me looking to the future. Because I'll be like, yo, I fucking dreamed this, like, I don't know how long ago, but this scene, and, like, deja vu, like, it happened. Is that, like, part of me sometimes feel like it is, like, my spirit guide, like, showing me things about, like, what I should be, like, focusing on, so that I can get prepared for it, you know, like, my little angel on my shoulder, in my subconscious, like, making me dream all these scenarios in my head that will soon happen. Like, sometimes I feel like that happens a lot, where I'm just, like,
I believe that dreams are a version of the future.
Reality.
Yeah, like you can either see into the future or you can see into the past.
Yeah,
I do believe that.
What if they're just portals? What if the dream, the
I
dream world is itself like a portal to any number of dimensions, not just
I believe
like
in that
time
too.
travel? Because I was thinking the other day, like I was like, what if the only way to time travel is in your dreams? I'm like, that actually does make sense, but like dreams can't, like, I don't know, there's just so much that happens in dreams that it can't just be, you know, a certain type of thing. I think it's just multiple different portals to like different types of worlds, different realities, different universes, whatever. It's just,
I mean, it does make sense.
It just, there's no way that me just sleeping at night and going, like, no. But then people do sleep studies and like they record themselves sleeping and like their body's still there. So is it really just like your mind like getting?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's when you sleep, it's your mind traveling. That's what I had posted this question before, but no one ever answered me about it. No, I put it on Instagram before, but it was basically, I was like, is when you're dreaming, like, are you traveling? Like your body is there, yes, but like when you're dreaming, you go somewhere else. You don't just, you know, I'm going to sleep or whatever. And like, I don't know, that's like the other thing, like with sleep studies and just different sleep patterns, like, and shit like that. Cause like, you know, people have a certain typical sleep pattern, and then there's people who fall outside of that sleep pattern. And usually when they fall outside of that sleep pattern, it's because of some sort of sleep disorder or something like that.
Like Insidious.
Yeah, well, Insidious was partially like it was like lucid dreaming, right? I think it was like lucid dreaming because they were like, it was astral projection. But astral projection to me, I think, is like essentially lucid dreaming, like when you're controlling where you're going, what you're seeing.
Sometimes
type
I
shit.
can do that.
Yeah, everyone can to varying
I'm
degrees.
telling you,
If you
I've
practice
never
it,
missed a dream.
well, if you practice it enough too, you can make yourself do it. You have to constantly be journaling, and then throughout the day, just be like, "Am I dreaming?" So that way, you'll just be used to going, "Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming?" I used to ask myself that over and over again as I fell asleep, and then while you're actually asleep and you're dreaming, you'd be like, "Am I dreaming?" And then you just like certain things you can look around for clues, because like in dreams, it's not the same as like
The thing, like, I feel like when I wake up, I remember my dream so vividly, and I'm like, is that me like telling myself that I was aware I was dreaming? Because when I wake up, I'm like, yo, that was fucking crazy, or I'm like,
no, it's
what?
when
I know I get what you're saying, but I'm saying is that I feel like I'm trying to tell myself that I'm dreaming, because as soon as I wake up, I'm like, yo, that dream was amazing. Like, I wonder if I'm trying, like, in my sleep to be like, you're dreaming, bitch, you're dreaming, bitch. Like, to wake up, like, not wake up, but, like, be there present. Because when I wake up, I literally remember all my dreams. So,
I know when I'm dreaming, but once I wake up, like, it's like 5 seconds that I forget my dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can remember, like, bits and pieces.
Yeah,
but like I can never remember my entire dream.
I dream so often throughout the night that I can never remember one full complete dream. Usually I remember bits and pieces of every dream, but like I start to confuse them together, and I start getting confused. I'm like, did I dream this a couple weeks ago? And it's like, no, I just had so many dreams last night that this felt like hours ago or days ago, but I actually dreamt this in sleep time, like 2 hours after the other dream that I remember having last night. So it's like, it's really
I feel like I only
weird.
have like one dream.
Yeah, most people don't dream that much. I don't have like a normal sleep schedule or sleep pattern. REM is when you dream. That's the period when you dream, and most people dream about 2 to 3 times a night.
I would say I dream probably 2 to 3 times.
I don't think
I dream like 5 times or more a night. I
feel like it's only one for me. But I could be wrong, because, like, once again, I don't remember my...
But not everyone doesn't remember their dreams. Most people don't remember
Sometimes
their dreams.
I don't dream at all, or unless I don't think that I dream, because I don't see a movie.
I dream every single night.
When I was a kid, I thought that dreaming was like movies. There are movies.
Like,
I mean, it
right
kind
now,
of is.
I'm literally replaying a lot of my dreams in my mind, and I'm like, I totally agree with Diana. Like, it's a different reality, because I'm like, I can see myself in these places, and like, I don't like none of these places. I don't. Well, but I read a thing that said that dreams, you only see people in your dreams who you have physically seen.
Yeah, because your mind cannot create a face that it has not seen before. Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, like, you see so many people. Mm-hmm. That's why your dreams are able
You're like, there was this man that I didn't even know, but like your subconscious remembered their face. Yeah. You could not, but your subconscious did.
I was like, that's so fucking
It's crazy.
Because a lot of the times, whenever I meet different people, I'm like, I feel like I met you in my dream before. Like, I feel like I've seen you before. Like, I don't know.
It's like, you look familiar.
Yeah, but it's like, I probably have seen you, like, passing the street one time, and then you were in my dream, so now me meeting you again, it's like, I'm like, I know you. I fucking know you. Know your birthday, and your social security number, and your address.
Oh, now she being crazy.
Be my friend.
Be my friend. Yo, I read a meme the other day that was like, it was from Pisces. It was like, when Pisces sits there and smiles and acts like they don't know what you're talking about, but they already looked you up on everything, and they know about your dog dying when you were 7. And I was like,
oh, I think I was going to send that to you.
Yeah, that's me. I usually, if your stuff is, I'm going to look you up, and if it's public, I'm searching through it, most likely. I'm sorry, I'm that person. I don't care.
I mean, it's public. I feel like you have it there because you want people to see your shit.
I mean, yeah, I'm public, so if you want to search my shit, search it, baby.
Search my shit, too. But, it ain't nothing in there, for real.
Yeah, I don't know. I love dreaming. I sometimes go to sleep just so I can dream. And go into the other realm.
I have, like, a love-hate. I love having dreams. Yes, because I love to sleep, but because my sleep schedule gets so fucked up, like the sleep paralysis happens. Like when my body, like if I were to, I'm tired, so I could easily take a nap now, but because I slept all day yesterday and my sleep schedule is messed up now, if I try to take a nap, I'm either gonna hum or twitch a lot or just have sleep paralysis and not be able to sleep. It's really weird. Like even though I'm really tired, if I were to lay down, my heart rate would increase and I wouldn't be able to sleep. it's weird. It's unfortunate. But that's why I have the sleeping pills. I just haven't had them the last few days because I was trying not to take it, and then I ran out, and I was like, at this point, I'm so tired. Like, what was it? Saturday night, I was like, I went home, I made the cookies, threw up my whole life, went back downtown, was talking to my friend for a little bit, and then drove to drop off edibles to someone else, and this was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'm so tired. But at the same time, I didn't get to bed till probably like 5 or 6 o'clock that night. I was so tired, and I just wanted to sleep the whole night. Like, I was like, I just want to go to bed. But when I finally got home, I was like, I just stayed awake. I was like, what the fuck? But
no, I don't like to sleep. Like, because there's a ghost in the house. Like, I know that there's a ghost in the house. I don't like to sleep during the day.
Has a ghost done anything like physically or like really bad to you?
Other than wake me up from my sleep, no. But when we first moved in, I'm asleep. Well, I'm trying to sleep at least, and I hear footsteps coming from like the back of the house down the stairs. And I'm like, I know that I'm hearing shit. Like, those were not no damn footsteps. And then a couple nights later, I hear those same footsteps coming up from downstairs, coming up the stairs, and then to the back of the house.
I never heard this story before. I'm like,
I know.
God.
But like, I'm convinced that was a ghost, and Jessica's afraid of ghosts, so like, I didn't tell her about it. But then like the second time that it happened, I'm like, yo, babe, there is a ghost in the house, and I don't know what it's doing. It's literally just roaming around the house. Yeah. But like, I don't like that. Like, go to sleep.
I mean, it's
roam around the house when I'm not home.
Hey, energy. Who knows what like ghostly energy is like? That might not even be the actual spirit that it belongs to anymore, if that makes any sense. Like, that's something else that I wondered, like, what kind of energy is it? What type of energy is it? Like, how much of a conscience is there? Well,
that's my thing is, do this when I am awake, not when I'm trying to sleep. And like, I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah, but that's what she's saying. Like, what if they don't have like a conscience to be aware of?
You see all the lights off in the house. Go to sleep.
Well, yeah, they're not aware of their surroundings.
Go hang out in the basement with the birds. I don't care.
Maybe he was walking down there
to the basement.
Yeah.
I mean, you can also go up to the attic. Like, I don't know. I also don't like. I don't like basements, and I don't like attics because I feel like that's where ghosts live.
Do you guys think, like, kids have a higher propensity to see ghosts? Yes. Yeah, along with animals.
Yes, I do.
Like, I think so, too. Like, as kids, we're tapped more into, like, the veil or, like, the psychic.
I feel like as children, like, that veil between two worlds is down. So, like, that's why I feel like they have their imaginary friends. Mm-hmm. And, like, we think they're imaginary because we can't see them. But I feel like children 100% can see these entities and they become friends with them. 100%. There's sometimes where, like, the girls, they just be staring into just blank space and then all of a sudden start barking. Dakota's, like, mohawk would come up and I'm just like, calm down, please. Like, please calm down. Like, you're barking at nothing because I can't see it. So, like, please stop.
Yeah, I completely agree 100%. Like, I think so, too.
I think, like, over time it gets dulled down for whatever reason due to, like, fears and conditioning. A lot of it, I think, is from conditioning. And this brings me into the next thing. And I'm sorry, like, I'm really fucking tired. But, like, this may be borderline, like, what is it, like a conspiracy theory, but it's like, do you think that's why the type of rhetoric that goes around is what goes around? A lot of it is to keep people in fear, to put people in fear, just because it's easier to control them and to keep people, quote unquote, powerless. Because when you're afraid or you have an anxiety, like, say you're an empath and you can read people, blah, 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 you can sense energies. But you can't do that shit right if you have your own anxiety that's cutting into that energy, that's not giving you an accurate reading, if that makes any sense. Like, it's a form of fear.
Are you saying that they're, like, they're telling kids like not to believe in imaginary friends.
No, I don't think it's just with kids. I think it's across society. Just
the government and some people that you're
not the
psychic.
government. No. It's not like that. I'm saying it's all subtle. It's like
who's making it subtle? That's what I'm.
Everyone. That's what I'm saying. It's like
I don't.
There's no like one group of people.
Subtle. What
you don't see it in like the advertisement
about what. Just about spirits and stuff like that?
No. I mean, like, just in general, to be afraid of something. Just to be afraid, period,
is
what takes you away from being connected to yourself, connected to the universe, connected to whatever the fuck. You're not connected when you're scared, when you're in fear. And you don't, like, it's literally everywhere all the fucking time.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying now. Because I personally don't feel that way about life. I'm not afraid, I guess, of certain things in life. I think that's why I'm really connected to myself and able to feel and like deal with things, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like, but I see what you're saying. Like, people put fear into people. The media puts fear into people. It's about certain things in life in general.
It's just like
fear.
You know,
fear is the best control.
You're fearful of other people. You know, or just religion.
I mean, yeah, you should be fearful of certain people.
No, but the way that it's presented, it's not on a rational level, and it's always like directed at a certain group that they want it to be directed towards. There is no non-biased media reporting whatsoever.
Yeah.
My answer is yes. I do believe that because I feel like fear is the best kind of control tactic, and when you instill fear in people, it's easier for you to control them. Like, it's easier for you to make them move the way that you want them to move.
Like, what I was trying to say before is, like, I think we all have this ability to tap into, like, whether we're psychics, we're empaths, you know, I don't know if you can move shit with your mind, like, electromagnetic shit, like, any of that shit, like, we all have, a lot of people, I should say, has like some varying degree of being tapped in somehow, and then over time shit changes. Because like as a kid, I remember having lots of experiences, and it would just freak me out so much. I'd be like, and then also my parents would be like, there's nothing there, you don't hear anything, blah blah. Because I remember I heard this woman's like high heel shoes going like tip tip, like clacking on the sidewalk. I'm like, there's a woman out there, and she's walking back and forth. I can't sleep because my mom's like, go to sleep, and I'm like, I can't sleep. There's a woman out there, and she keeps walking. My mom's like, went and looked outside. She's like, there's no one out there. But I kept hearing the high heels clicking on the sidewalk, and I couldn't get to sleep.
I feel like that's what, I agree with you. That's with everyone. Like, but I think our generation, we kind of, I think we'll listen to our children more when it comes to things like, I mean, obviously not everyone, but I understand that belief that some people have where it's like, you're not hearing anything, like, calm down, you're fine. Like, I get that, like, same side as well, because most people in their mind think that's not real, like spirits can't exist, like, you know, ghosts can't exist, and I'm like, yeah, they can.
I told you that time when I babysat the little girl, and she's like, her eyes were just like, and I'm like, Lydia, what are you looking at? She's like, there's a monster in the corner of the room, and her eyes just keep moving. I'm like, Lydia, just go to bed, okay? I didn't tell her that I wasn't there. I believed her. I got scared and I ran the fuck out of that room.
You left her in the room by herself?
Yes, because she's not gonna get hurt. She just saw something there. That's all it was. And she comes down the stairs because the reason why I thought she kept saying was because she just didn't want to sleep. She didn't want to go to sleep. And then she's like, I can't sleep. She came down, scared the shit out of me. And I was like, okay, Lydia, just sleep on the couch. I'm not going back in that room.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the times, like, you just hit on the nail on the coffin. That a lot of parents think, oh, you doesn't want to go to bed, you don't want to sleep. And it's like, no, like, even if it is their imagination, like, if it is, that's still, it sucks for them to be imagining that, you know? Mm-hmm. They should be comforted to, like, understand, like, it's okay. Like, teach them that it's okay, you know? Even if it is, like, that thing is not going to hurt you. Trust me, it's not going to hurt you, okay? They can't hurt you. They can't harm you. If you close your eyes, you won't be able to see it. But your eyes open. You know, there are certain things you can take to, like, try to calm you down.
And I would tell her to close her eyes. She would close her eyes, and her eyes would still be moving. I'm like, Lydia! So scary.
No, fuck that shit.
And the house was in the middle of the woods.
Oh, see.
So that also didn't help.
Nah.
I was
like
already
that.
creeped out.
No.
Like when the wind would blow, the trees would just be, and I'm like, oh my god, when the fuck are they getting home? When are they getting home?
That's like a scene.
And I babysat them at night. I babysat them at night all the time.
oh,
I only ever babysat them at night, maybe once or twice during the day.
Oh yeah, parents like we gotta go out, baby.
No, they had like a cleaning. They cleaned like restaurants, and
Like,
you know
no,
they
they're
can only
hardworking
come in after they
people.
close.
Well, yeah.
So you know
That's
between
okay.
I would babysit between like 10 and 4 in the morning. Oh my god. Well, probably earlier than that because the kids would go to bed earlier.
Oh yeah.
So you were there for like a long time.
But I slept most of the time.
I mean, I would too. Like, what the fuck do you have to do when the kids are asleep? Like, sleep your goddamn self.
And you're in the middle of nowhere.
And I was always scared. I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep. Hope I live.
They're probably
Hope I
worse than
live.
spirits. I mean, I would love to get my house read by like a medium and just see, because I hear a lot of noises, but I'm also like, houses just creak in general. Like, houses
What about
creak.
like Reiki or things like that? Because like my mom used to, I mean, I don't know how much she knows about Reiki, but like she didn't call it that when I was a kid. But what she was doing was like Reiki practices.
What
It's
is
basically energy all within your body, and it's basically moving energy and balancing your bodily energy. And my mom, it's basically like a form of relaxation. You just relax yourself and kind of release tension. But my mom used to always do Reiki with us when we were kids, and I'd be like, do the thing with the energy in your hands, and I'd lay down with my arms like this, and my mom would be like going like this, moving the energy over my body.
Oh, I didn't know that that's what that was called.
I'm pretty sure that's very similar. I don't know if that's what it's called, but Reiki is a Japanese form of like energy
Oh, okay.
type shit. Yeah. It
No,
was
but
so
do you ever
funny.
look at a place and be like, that place is haunted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But like,
whenever-
is it? Do you think that it's haunted just because of like pop culture? You know.
So
Like,
whenever
ooh,
I'm
that's
in,
scary.
whenever I'm in Old Town, Alexandria, or especially in Georgetown, I'm like,
It's only
And,
when
like-
I'm in older places.
Yeah, like I'm creeped out in antique stores.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I be looking at a house and I'm like, I know this motherfucker gotta be haunted.
I mean, my restaurant that was in Old Town was haunted, and the owner would literally say he would hear a little girl like talking. He always would say that, and I believed him because I saw like that's where I saw my like first ghost ever. Was a guy? We were all, it was closed, business closed, restaurants having a drink after shift, and a figure just moved through the like past the door, like around like that bend to like the upstairs, and I was just like, I go, we're the only people here, right? And they're like, yeah, we're all here. And I was like, I just saw a figure
it's
go
time
by.
it's time for me to go.
And literally, the GM there at the time was like, you experienced him for the first time, and then she told me the story of how it was like, this was an old slave house, and like after that, it was an owner. It was the house was a man, a wife, and a little girl. And the mom had died early, so it was just the mom and then the dad and the little girl. And then it ultimately got bought out and turned to a business. Because that's when Old Town turned to businesses back in 1930 something. And I was like, yo, that's fucking like cool, but also like it's scary.
It's creepy. No.
Creepy as fuck.
Whenever I'm in Old Town, I'm like, this place is haunted. Like, I know it's haunted. I don't care what nobody says. This place is haunted. Georgetown, haunted. Like, I know it's haunted.
Yeah, I mean,
Philadelphia, haunted.
Yeah.
It's just like the old buildings, though, the history there.
It's
that
mainly for me
leads
the
you to feel
history.
that way.
I feel like because they're so old and like you can't tell me from as long as that building has been sitting there, like nobody has died in there.
especially because like medical back then, like no one really like went to the doctors. Obviously, like diseases weren't known. Like things weren't like people were probably dying of cancer before cancer became a thing. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and like I also know that a lot of these houses in Old Town, like you had slaves
That's
in
the
your
main
house,
thing.
and like
Slave quarters.
I know for a fact that you did not give your, and I'm gonna call them employees because even though they're
They're not employees.
They're not, but
Employees
like
get
I don't
paid.
want to call
They're
them slaves.
That's what they were, slaves.
Your servants.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
I know, but I feel dirty calling them slaves.
No, I agree with you. I'm saying so that's a comparable term.
So I'm pretty positive that you did not get your servants the medical care that they needed. So more than likely they died in that house.
Like, if you go in the basement, like me and my owner, because he was a black man, we would be like, that basement, he was like, I know slaves were murdered in that fucking basement. And I'm like, yes, it looks like, you know how like the pipes, like a long, like, he's like, I know slaves are hung, like just their hands. Like, I was like, yes, I 100% agree with you. Like, there's no way, like, their slave quarters were most likely the basement.
Like New Orleans? Haunted.
Yeah,
New Orleans is haunted. I know it is.
I mean, because like Old Town was a slave like auction.
Yeah, right across the street from the courthouse.
Yeah,
they would
not
auction
ghosts at all,
slaves.
though? What if it's not ghosts at all, and it's like it's just another dimension that we can't see?
I mean,
and
Lovecraft.
interacting
They did you ever go over and watch?
No,
Lovecraft?
I haven't watched it yet. I
I
haven't watched it yet.
They tapped into that, saying that like the spirits there are just another dimension.
Yeah, like what if it's another dimension, like a whole nother world, just
So what,
like
we
this
would be-
one?
we
that
would be
we
ghosts
just
to
can't
them?
see.
Yeah, no, we coexist with them, but we can't see it. But they can see our.
Like,
Start walking
it
around the house talking about ooh.
Like it could be that too. Like
Yeah.
they could be like, "Yo, what the fuck? This is my house."
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say to you. Like,
This is
no.
not my house. This is the ghost house.
Yes.
This is not my house. I'm just here for a little bit of time.
And that's what she's saying. That like the ghosts, the spirits are saying you're in my space. And, like,
you are not lying. This is your space, and I'm just here for a little bit of time until I can find my own spot.
But no matter what, that's going to be someone's space too.
I know that, but I feel like I'm going to be more comfortable somewhere else because
They're like, "You talking about all this
Especially-
space, bitch?"
To us, literally to everyone listening, the mics that like our extra mic just like
They just flew across the room. They just flew across the room. They went out the window.
I would feel more comfortable living in a house that was built this year, and I don't even want to say 5 years because a lot can happen in 5 years. Like somebody could.
So
definitely,
I'm convinced that I saw a man like. So I went to, it was like the storm pump drain area. Like, you know how in the corner of the basement there's this one drain where you can look, like if it's not finished, it has that drain. And so this one time.
Is this at my house?
No.
Okay.
My parents were looking at a house and they were talking to the realtor upstairs. And I was like, walking around the basement and I went to the corner of the room and I looked down there and I'm like, there was a man in a construction hat, denim shirt, blue jeans. And I'm like, what is he doing down there? And he was just standing down there, but his back was turned. I didn't see his face. And I ran to go tell my mom. I was like, hey, and my mom and dad, I was like, hey, there's a man down there. And they started laughing. They're like, there's no one there. I'm like, no, there is. And I went back and there was no one there. But I'm like, I swear I saw something there. I saw someone there. There was a man right there. I was probably like 8 or 9.
I'm creeped out. I'm so like, I feel like I have the heebie-jeebies right now.
Yeah.
That's so freaky. I couldn't. Did you live there? Okay, I'm glad you didn't buy the house.
I was in York.
I would be so afraid.
No, that was a ghost. That was a ghost.
Or it could have just that was his reality and he was working on the house for something. The
house was still being built in the other dimension.
Yeah.
Like seriously though, we don't know any of these things. Like there is so much about even our own brain power that is just not even tapped into.
Yeah, what do they say? We only use like 10%
or something of it. But I'm like, there's that. Then you have, like, I forgot what it is. I forgot what it's called, but it looks at the possibility of dimensions existing in frequencies. And varying different frequencies.
Yeah, but
it's very cool. It's very interesting.
I already told y'all this is not my house. This is a ghost house. You live here. Just don't bother me when I'm sleeping. That's all I ask.
Which is understandable.
That's it.
But they won't listen. But
they won't listen. They be doing a lot, and like for the most part, like I don't even. Mind
that's probably what's happening too with us though. Like they're probably like on the other side, like, yo, come on. And meanwhile, we're like over here talking. They're like, don't you hear the mumbling upstairs? You don't hear it in that corner room? Do you hear that? Like they could be just having their own freak out, like on the other side, and we're just like la, 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 living our best.
Oh, then they really hate
Caucasian
me
life.
when I'm blasting the music. Sorry.
But for real, that's something to think about.
Yeah, that's a cool perspective. Very, very cool perspective. But
I like the idea of me being a ghost to somebody else right now.
I don't.
I do.
I feel like being a ghost is a lot of work.
How?
Because like, you gotta go with them places. You gotta do what they want to do.
You don't actually have to go with them, and that's if you want to attach yourself to somebody.
Yeah, but I don't want to just floating around either. If I get caught in the rain, damn, it's gonna be fucking horrible. Good call. No,
You're a
right.
ghost. You're like, it's just gonna fall.
I
on
What
you.
if that makes your power like increase?
I mean,
just thinking.
I
I'm just
wish
thinking about like.
I had powers. I think that's why I was so in love with like X-Men.
That's what I'm saying. I think we all
That's
have
why I
powers.
fucked
We're
with
just
Matilda.
not tapped into it.
Matilda was my favorite.
We're just not tapped into it. That's what it is.
I will watch Matilda right now.
Also, we should direct people to watch Matilda because that totally proves my point as well.
Yeah, Matilda.
Children have powers and abilities.
Yeah.
We lose
I
them
mean,
over
I
time
always
when adults are
say,
assholes.
Movies and like TV shows, that idea, whatever, came from somewhere because it happened in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But it also at the same time that's like, to play devil's advocate, that goes into like, are we creating this idea about ghosts existing, heaven or religion existing, even just because it gives you comfort, it gives you an explanation for why things happen the way that they happen.
Yeah, I can
Because
see that.
your brain can't comprehend what's
I
unknown,
understand that, but
so
like,
it's making something.
I have more questions about ghosts than I have answers to.
Well, yeah, because no one.
I mean,
knows
everyone
where you
does.
go when
All
you
of us
die.
do. Yeah.
No one knows what happens when you die until you die, and that's the beauty of death.
But that's also the other thing. Like, people,
You want to know what happens? Die.
Yeah,
people who, there's people that do have died or whatever and shit,
and then come back.
yeah, you remember? I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is some years ago, probably like 10 to 15 years ago. This little white boy died and then came back to, they brought him back. And he said that he saw Jesus and that Jesus was a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Nah, you lying.
And I just started laughing. I'm like, that's not true.
You
but
lying.
like when, like, I do believe that might have been what he saw,
Like, it's his
but he was
version.
hallucinating. When you die, a lot of people, like, your brain, like, it shows, I forgot what it was. It shows, like, I saw a brain scan or whatever. And it just, the way it fires off, it's just like all the neurons and everything's firing off. So a lot of times you hallucinate shit when you see a light or you see Jesus, you see an angel, whatever. It's you're hallucinating as you die.
I don't want to die yet. For that when that happens, I hope it's not a painful death and I'm able to enjoy dying.
Well, my one experience with it was terrible. And to this day, I don't like dark water.
Yeah, I guess drowning is very close to dying, but I was saved pretty quickly with mine. I was at an actual pool, so that's why I think I was saved. Like, you on the other hand,
I was at a pool party.
Yeah, where
there was
no
a
one
lot
gave
of
a
people
fuck.
there. Yeah, there's a lot of people, and I actually was like, went unconscious.
Yeah, I didn't go unconscious.
I don't think I've ever had a near-death experience.
That one was like, took me a while to wrap my head around. That one took me a while to wrap my head around because I was like, what the fuck just happened to me? For the longest time, until I got older and realized what CPR was and saw in the movies, I thought I threw up water because all this water kept coming out of me and I didn't know where. I thought I was throwing it up. No, it was in my chest and the woman did CPR.
Yeah, well, technically she's making you throw it up.
Yeah.
That's what CPR is.
But yeah, I was like, I just thought I had swallowed a lot of water or something, and I was like burping it back up. Like, I was very confused on what happened.
Semi off topic, and I apologize. But did y'all have to take CPR classes in high school like I did?
No, I took. We learned CPR in 4th grade, but we never. You had the option to take the extra classes to be certified.
I never had the option to even take CPR.
We have to do it in health, and positive and do it in
No.
health. And part of the, you know how PE 1 semester is health? Like, we had to do it in health, and we all got certified.
No.
Well, if you passed, you got certified for it.
I took driver's ed and PE.
Yeah, we took driver's ed too.
The driver's ed was an elective for me by the time I was in high school.
That's
so I never took
No,
it.
that was part of
Besides, I was driving at 15, so.
Good job, because I am 31 years old and I still don't drive.
My mom sent me to the store for her all the time. Go get my medicine. And the same woman, this woman has seen me since I was a child, since I was like 8 years old and we moved there. And I've been using my mom's bank card. She's like, you can't use this card. It's not your card. I'm like, but it's my mother's card.
I'm a child.
You see me with her all the fucking time. I used to hate going to her register because she'd always say something every time. When I turned, she didn't say anything when I was a kid or a teenager using it. But when I turned like 17, 18, that's when she started saying shit. So I'm like, either she got into trouble or that's when she started caring. I don't know.
I mean,
But
does
she
it
didn't say
really
anything
fucking
the longest
matter?
time.
I use my mom's card all the time when I go out. But anyway,
She knew it. She knew it wasn't mine though.
I wish a motherfucker would talk about you
I
can't
know,
use this
fuck.
card. This my wife. What you mean? This comes from the same bank account.
I remember when I was at Dave & Buster's, they started saying that if people pay with credit cards, try to start checking their IDs with it because like a big fraud thing was happening. People were like saying you have to like make sure the names match. And everything.
You remember when there was that fraud with the dude leaving the like the $700-800 tip?
Yes, you know I remember because I was a part of it.
I was so happy, and Ryan was like, you can't close that out. I was like, man, fuck you.
And I remember when it came back because me and this person who he did it with was like, listen, like he told us the whole thing. Like, you know, obviously he told us everything. And I was like, okay, I don't care. Like, I got an extra $300. Like, I'll take that.
The dude that he was doing it with, I used to work with him. They were, because I had seen the guy at Elephant and Castle when I worked down there. And, yeah.
And my manager, I straight up, I said, can I close this out? And he said, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, okay. So when it came back that, you know, it was fraud. He was like, so they're saying, I was like, nope. Me and the person were like, no, you told us, because we were on the bar together that day the whole time. We were like, no, you told us. That's not our fault. That's your liability. You told us we should close it out. If you feel like we shouldn't have done anything. He was just like, yeah, you're right. And we didn't have to pay back shit.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he had to pay back that shit, but we did not pay back shit. And I was just like, whatever.
You shouldn't have been you shouldn't have been responsible to pay that back anyways.
If you don't feel comfortable as an establishment, then you don't close that checkout. You say don't put that tip on it. We're not paying you that money. That's what you say as a business. But you didn't, and so we got rich that day for the day.
I know. I remember you coming in talking about, I just got this, and I'm like, you bitch, tell him to come in here and give me some money.
No, because
and then he did come in there and give us that money because you were working that night.
And also that night, Ryan called the cops on him and everything because
and the dude was like going.
They were super like shady though. Like
they were super
shady.
He got a really bad attitude with Ryan, but like he was talking to our GM at the time. Because remember, I mean, 2 black men, they started like chatting and talking about shit, and like he was just like, yeah, you know, I love taking care of servers. I used to be in the industry, like I got it, but now I'm rich, but they were just scammers. Which, hey, be a scammer, do you, boo?
If I could remember right, the card that they paid with was like it wasn't even like a real bank card.
No, it was a Visa gift card. It was a Visa gift card.
So like I already knew that like you don't got no money. Like
that's why I didn't care. I had no problem. One of my favorite guests, he was this dude. He worked at the Tesla, whatever that. The Tesla on the street. Like he would always come in on lunch, order the most basic, like a barbecue chicken, just basic shit. Drink 2 beers, and they always gave him Kraftwerk gift cards. I don't know why, but he always had them. And whatever was left on it was my tip every single time. Like if he had a $100 card and spent $20, $80 be my tip. And I would be like, every time he walked in, and he was the best customer. Whenever we closed, he was like, I'm gonna miss you, man. I was like, I'm gonna miss you too. Lunch was really nice with you. You know, like you're dope. But yeah, that's super great. But hey, I'm glad I got my money from the scammer. I'll take it.
All right.
I would have been scamming GB too.
Well, I always scam GB. Sorry, I don't give you guys.
GB, I was very uncomfortable after I applied there. I was like, I don't think I want to work here anymore. Because when I applied, the questions that I was asking, I'm like, they're screening to see if you're bipolar or have depression. And I was like, this makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I feel like most of my jobs,
most jobs screen for depression type issues, but they were specifically asking about manic symptoms. And I was like, this makes me feel strange. I understand why they're doing it, but this is borderline discriminatory.
But yeah, a lot of people at GB had a lot of anger issues.
I never had anybody ask. I mean, I don't know.
If you look at it, like the questions, it's like asking if a person.
Yeah,
but I'm like, that's borderline discriminatory to me because I'm like, you're literally searching to see if someone. You're searching to see if someone's gonna have difficulties with guests or other employees, but I'm like, that's because of their mental illness at the same time.
Yeah,
I would also lie on those, like,
I mean, I lied straight through all of it, but I was like, this makes me feel very uncomfortable. It really did. But it was targeting a certain group of people.
Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed our stories. It's a lot of fun. Leave some stories that you've experienced with paranormal things.
Yeah.
You deal with psychics or mediums.
There's a Reddit. Hang on. It's an Instagram. It's on Instagram. It's this Reddit thing that I follow on Instagram, and they talk about like paranormal shit that happens to them all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Well, there's
dark. dark theme Reddit.
Can
Dark
you
theme
screenshot and
Reddit.
send that to me?
Yeah.
There's a Netflix show about like people talking about their ghost stories, and I'm gonna watch it. Even though like it's kind of like a confessional situation, like a recreation. I thought it was like a show, like a regular like scripted show.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna watch it anyways because I also like watching like whatever it is on like the sci-fi show network where they talk about like it's pretty much like that where they talk about like their own ghost stories and like shit like that. I like it. I don't know what it is. I like that shit. I also like watching shit about serial killers. I like that shit.
Yes, but we like you guys listening as well and watching. So
yeah.
if you are listening, thank you so much for listening, for watching. Thank you. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye. While Diana's on her phone.
I'm watching plants grow. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Farewell
podcast
until
is
we
on.
meet
All right,
again.
bye.
I sent you the link.